Chapter 19. I believe it's the last chapter. Slither Sisters. That was a real dumb idea, Glenn muttered. Excuse me? Robert asked. The dance was nearly over, and Robert was back in the bleachers with his best friend. We worked all week to win this election. We could have been kings of the 7th grade, but now Howard Murgler would be calling the shots. Glenn shook his head, disgusted. Dumb idea. It was the right thing to do, Karina said. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him? Glenn repeated in a high falsetto. Give me a break. The music switched to a slow song. One last dance before the night was over. And the boys and girls were pairing up. Lynn Scott's never going to dance with you now. Karina sighed. Here we go again. I'm not interested in Lynn Scott, Robert insisted. She's beautiful. If you like her so much, why don't you dance with her? Glenn shrugged. I already have a date. He was holding Pip and Squeak in his lap. He raised their forepaws, waving them back and forth in time to the music, and the rats chattered happily, enjoying the attention. I'm happy right here, Robert said. I don't need to dance with anyone. Me neither, Karina said, sitting back and enjoying the music. I wish we could all stay here all weekend. When the last song ended and the lights came up, the Lavinas climbed the bleachers to congratulate Robert on his victory. Well done, young man, Warren said. We're very proud of you, Miss Lavinia said. You showed a lot of strength tonight. Robert shrugged. The lemonade did most of the work and melted their skin right off. I'm talking about the election. Giving the election to Howard Murgler? Glenn rolled his eyes. Such a dumb idea. It was the right move, Miss Lavinia said, but I'm sure it wasn't an easy move to make. I have bigger responsibilities now, Robert said. You sure do, Warren said, rubbing his hands together. We've got a huge fight ahead of us. Tonight was just a warm-up. I'm developing a new weapon. Miss Lavinia rested a gentle hand on the back of his diving helmet, interrupting him. They've had enough fun for one night. We can talk on Monday. Come to the lighthouse, Warren told them. My Cthulhus are growing. The aquarium won't hold them much longer. We need a plan. Monday, Miss Lavinia repeated, taking Warren's gloved hand and leading him away. Enjoy your weekend. Karina stood up. I should go too. The janitors will be locking up, and I'll need a place to hide. Robert remembered what Karina had said about long, lonely weekends at Lovecraft Middle School. Do they even unlock the doors on Saturday or Sunday? I could visit. She shook her head. There's no way in or out. I'm on my own until Monday morning. As she turned to leave, Pippa Squeak leapt out of Glenn's lap and followed her, pacing in circles around her ankles, sniffing her shoes. What do they want? She asked. Robert studied them carefully. His pets were acting so peculiar, like they were intent on going home with Karina instead of him. Call me crazy, he said, but I think they're asking if they can sleep over. Karina grinned. Really? Here? The whole weekend? Pippa Squeak nodded their heads. Oh my gosh, Robert, is that cool with you? Sure, he said. You'll need to feed them, but I'm sure there's stuff in the cafeteria. They eat almost anything. This is awesome, Karina exclaimed. I'll take great care of them, I promise. And I'll have them back first thing Monday morning. She looked down at the rats. We're going to have so much fun together. Wait until you see the teacher's lounge. They have the best snacks. Pip squeaked. Squeak chattered happily, and Karina marched them out of the gymnasium. By this time, most of the other students had already left. Robert and Glenn found Mrs. Arthur in the lobby, taking down the decorations and placing them in a large cardboard box. It was filled to the brim with skulls, severed heads, and rubber rats. The school doesn't want them, so I thought I'd bring them home, she explained. I know how much you boys love Halloween. Robert could remember when Halloween was his favorite holiday. He used to love all the blood and guts and crazy costumes. Now it didn't seem so fun anymore. There's no point in spoiling the tradition. Cool. We can decorate tomorrow before the trick-or-treaters start coming around. And I'll make you hot apple cider, Mrs. Arthur said. Glenn, I hope you'll join us. Sure, I'll bring some gummy worms. The boys waited outside, the main entrance with the box of decorations, while Mrs. Arthur went to get the car. It was late, and the parking lot was eerily empty. Eerily. Robert heard the familiar voice of shuffling feet and clanking metal in the distance. He turned to see Howard Murgler limping along on his forearm crutches. He was still wearing his E equals MCT t-shirt, but he ditched the rest of the Einstein costume. Hi, guys, he called. Hey, Mr. President, Robert said. You need a ride? He shook his head. No, thanks, I'll manage. You sure? It's nearly 11 o'clock, and Howard lived more than a mile across town. At this rate he crept along, he'd be lucky to get home before dawn. I just came to say thank you. You don't have to thank me, Robert said. You deserve to win. You're going to make a terrific president. Howard stood up straight, full of pride. I'll do my best. I have so many plans for our class, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. That was really generous of you. My pleasure, Robert said. Good luck. I just want to be clear that this doesn't change things for Master. You destroyed 2 vessels tonight, and he's very unhappy. Robert blinked. What? This election was meant to be a contest between me and Sarah. Brains versus beauty. A win for Master either way. You came along and nearly ruined the whole plan. Howard shook his head sadly. When I led our classmates into Tillingham's mansion, I'm afraid your boys will suffer the worst. Headlights flashed over the main entrance. Mrs. Arthur was driving out of the parking lot and heading toward them. Howard reached down, unstrapping the heavy orthodontic braces and circled his knees. Then he tossed the braces into the nearest trash and added the crutches as well. Finally, he stood up straight on his own 2 feet. You can walk? Robert asked. Please, Howard sneered. Walking is for mammals. He turned and sprinted across the athletic field, faster than was humanly possible. In an instant, he was just a shadow on the horizon. The shadow of Lovecraft Middle School's new student council president, beating his enormous wings and rising above the treetops, soaring through the moonlight sky. Robert stared after him. Glenn snorted. Told you it was a dumb idea. That's the end of Slither Sisters, and probably the start of Teacher's Pest. There's Howard Burglar. It was really a bug. That's book 3.